One day, an elderly grandmother was preparing lunch for her grandson, but something about her seemed unusual. As the pressure cooker hissed with steam, she suddenly reached out her bare hand toward it. In seconds, her palm was burned. Luckily, her grandson rushed in and carried her straight to the hospital. The burn wasn't severe, but the doctor's diagnosis was heartbreaking. She was suffering from Alzheimer, a disease with no cure. The young man couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth. All he could do was pray that her condition would somehow improve. Not long after, a close friend came to visit, wanting to surprise them. The grandmother brought out a pot she thought was filled with steamed buns, but when she lifted the lid, it contained only boiling water. The hot liquid spilled and burned the friend. Once again, the grandson had no choice but to rush to the hospital, leaving his grandmother standing alone, confused and ashamed. From that day on, she began to lose confidence. One afternoon, she attended a parent-teacher meeting on her grandson's behalf, but afterward, she never came home. Desperate, the young man searched around the marketplace, asking vendors if they had seen her. No one had. A teacher advised him to return home, and there at last he heard familiar footsteps. His grandmother walked in exhausted, confessing she had been lost all day and had asked the police for help. Overwhelmed with relief, he hugged her tightly, terrified of ever losing the only family he had left. Since then, he began locking her inside the house for her safety. Before handing it over, she broke down and hugged him, crying, "If you leave, I'll be alone again. How can I survive?" Her longing for a stormy night, the young man returned home to find her clutching a metal rod, accusing him of being a thief. She no longer recognized him. Fearing she would hurt herself, he quietly walked away. Without realizing it, his steps led him to school, where he met his closest friend. The moment he saw them, he collapsed into their warm embrace. "Don't be afraid. I'm here," the friend whispered. For the first time, he let go of all the weight he had been carrying inside. But the following night, his grandmother's cries filled the house again. Clutching an old photograph of him as a child, she said with trembling voice, "I want to go home." It was then he understood. She longed to return to her hometown before her memories disappeared completely. Yet he faced the greatest test of his life, his university entrance exam. With his ability, he had a chance at one of the best universities. But if he chose to take her home, he would sacrifice his future. After a sleepless night of thinking, he made his decision. He would take her back to her village, even if it meant giving up his dream. The only regret in his heart was parting from his best friend, the one he had hoped to share that future with. But some goodbyes cannot be avoided. The next morning, he dressed his grandmother in her finest clothes, while he wore a simple white shirt. His face shone with renewed determination as he pedaled a rickshaw, carrying her home. Deep inside, his choice spoke louder than words. The future can wait, but the time we have with those we love will never return.